Today we have one of my favorite topics, which is Windows shortcuts. I love this one because I love shortcuts, and it's not just silly. They literally do save me a lot of time on what I'm doing. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to focus on one particular key in Windows. It's probably the most underutilized key in Windows. We're going to go through this. So for those of you who do not do business with us already, Braver Technology Solutions, managed service provider up here in the Northeast. Welcome. We're amazing. There's our amazing team. There's one handsome guy. Don't know who that is, just randomly on the slide. So what are we going to focus on? We're going to focus on the Windows shortcut key. So I'm going to show you some things that you can do with this Windows shortcut key because most people don't realize how useful that is. This one right here, I'm going to start with because this is the most important one, the one I use all the time. Maybe too late, but don't do this one right now. So basically, when you hit the Windows L key, like I said, don't do it now. You're going to use this primarily. So you should really, if you're walking away from your desktop for more than 10, 15 minutes, you should really lock your desktop. But instead of doing the Control-Alt-Delete or doing the Windows and everything like that, you can simply lock your desktop really quickly just by holding down the Windows key and hitting the L key. It's going to lock it. When you come back, you'll be prompted for your password. You'll be right where you left off. This one is extremely important just for security standpoint, especially with everybody working from home where you have random family members or kids that are now accessing not only your home computer, but your home computer or the computer that you're working on, even that it's at home, is accessing the office environment. So that's the main one that, that I want to introduce you. But let's say that you're not going to be away for 10, 15 minutes. You're just going to go up and get a quick snack, or you're going to go say hi to somebody, or you're just going to go get a cup of coffee or water. You don't really want to lock your desktop, but you want to kind of minimize everything on your desktop. That's where this next one comes into play. This next one is Windows D. When you do Windows D, what that does, that minimizes everything on your desktop so that all you can see is just the background. That's handy. Like I said, I tend to use it when I'm just going to get up and walk away really quickly, whatever it may be. Just go get a quick, go check on something in the inventory or get a quick drink or anything like that. So that's a nice, quick way to actually not really lock your computer, but just kind of hide everything on it. All right, now we're going to get into the really cool ones. I'm going to get into something that probably most people don't know exist. So one of the big things about Windows Clipboard that everybody always hates is that basically you have to, if you have two different things that you want to copy, so you want to copy this one, and then you want to copy it down, but now you want to copy text 2, so you're going to go in and copy it and paste it. Well, there's actually a better way. If you hold down the Windows key and hit V, this is actually a history of your clipboard right here. So it'll keep everything that you typed right here easily accessible. So you can quickly just go back and forth between the different things that you typed in. The other thing that you can do, which is so cool with this, is a little pin button. Let's say there's a particular thing that you type in all the time. It's actually going to pin it right in the clipboard, so it's always there for you, always on the top. Again, that's just Windows V. It comes up. Again, I know you guys have times where you're copying, pasting the same thing over and over again, and you're tired of going back and forth on it. This is a nice, simple solution for that. Okay, so next one is the Windows P. So this one's really cool for those of you working from home. You take your notebook, you plug it into another monitor, you come back from the house and you work in the office, and you plug it into another monitor, or you're putting into a projector. If you hold down the Windows and P button, that's going to bring you to that ever elusive screen that you're always looking for that says, okay, how do I extend my desktops? How do I duplicate it? How do everything? It's actually right there in the Windows P mode. It's one of those ones that I know you've looked for this many times when you go to plug in your monitor and it's in there, you're like, oh, it's duplicating it instead of extending it and everything. It's right there and nice, easy to find. next one I'm going to get into is when you're looking for a file. So most people don't realize that Windows Explorer, instead of going into My Computer and going through, you can actually just hit Windows E. And when you hit Windows E, it's going to bring up your Explorer window, and you can search for your files right there. Really easy to get to it, and then it's one of those ones that you're using all the time. All right, now we're going to get into the really, really, really fun ones. All right, this is something that most people just don't realize exists, and it's in Windows altogether, which is Windows period. So if you hold down the Windows key and you hit the period, you're going to come up with this. This are emojis that are built into Windows, and most people don't even know that they're there. And there are tons of them. As you can see, there's different categories. And there's, when you scroll through each category, there's a whole bunch in each one. There are tons and tons of emojis right at your fingertips. You don't have to go Google them. You don't have to do anything. They're right here. But I'm going to show you something even cooler. I'm going to type in Windows P. Watch what happens when I type in this next word. I typed in the word hot. It finds all of the emojis that are related to the word hot. So you can actually search for the emojis as easy as that. That I think is so cool. So if we do this, again, all of them right there going through. How cool is that? All right. Next one I'm going to bring up is the, sorry about that, clipboard. So this one, a lot of people don't realize when they want to do a copy of the screen, they're hitting the print screen, they're hitting this and this and this. If you just hold down Windows Shift S, you're going to get this selection bar. You highlight the selection bar, click on it. All of a sudden, that selection is in your clipboard. It's as easy as that. Now, the next logical question should be, all right, well, I did that. What happens if I go to my clipboard history? What happens? Guess what? It actually shows up in your clipboard history as well. So you can actually keep hitting that same screenshot over and over again in the clipboard history on it. All right, let's go to the next one. Is the this one? I'm gonna bet that I bet most of our engineers don't even know, and I bet most of the engineers on the phone don't know this one. If you hit down the Windows key and pause, you're actually going to bring up your system properties on the screen. This is great when you're trying to troubleshoot or when you're working with somebody to see what specifications you have, if you meet the software requirements. Even if you just want to change your computer name, it's right here when you want to work on it. All right. Now, this certainly is not my case. I wish. But maybe some of us are having a little more trouble seeing things on the screen than we used to back in the old days. Well, most people don't realize that there's actually a magnifying glass in the Windows, and it's as easy as hitting Windows plus. And when you do that, you have this little box right here. And when you highlight this box over a particular area, and you keep hitting Windows plus, guess what happens? It zooms in to that area. So you can actually see what's on the screen and move it around. And it'll follow it. Now, the other thing that you can do, I'll make this most important. You hit Windows minus in order to get back to the normal screen. You can actually do this with a full screen too. If you click this over, now when you zoom in, it's actually a full screen zoom. Again, it's Windows minus to get back again. So that is in your magnifying glass. I'm ashamed to say I've used it more than once when I'm looking on the screen. Just so we're not cruel, I made sure to put in the Windows minus in there because you don't want to be stuck in a zoomed in screen. Okay, that was it. Believe it or not, that's been 10 minutes. Those are our Windows tips in 10 minutes. Before I check and see, so I think the most important thing is the results of the initial poll. So Jen, you want to start a new poll, and we'll give you the results to the initial poll that we had.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I just want to say, if anybody rated anything other than the 80s as the best decade for music, I think you're lying. I just think you're totally lying. But let's
Well,
see.
I can't say nobody chose the 2000s, so that's encouraging.
All right, so we have winner of the best decade in music. Oh, just barely squeaked it out. Was the 80s. Just barely won on that. So congratulations, everybody. I agree with you. There's nothing like an aha. Okay, Jen, is there anything that I missed?
No, I don't see any questions that anyone may have come across.
Okay.
So I think
Yep.
we are
If
good
anybody
for
has
now.
any, if anybody has any topics, again, we'd love to make sure that these 10-minute webinars are useful and handy. Again, it's supposed to be a quick time out of your break. So if you want to leave some feedback on the Q&A, just to let us know that that this was useful and you'd like to see us keep doing it, that'd be great. Again, if you have topics that you'd like to see, that would be tremendous as well. We'll leave the Q&A open for a few minutes. But other than that, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it. We'll do some more of these going in. I think we have some interesting topics online that are going to be really cool. I have one in mind for the next one. That is one that I use a lot. So if I can figure out how to do it correctly on a webinar, I think you guys are going to really get some use out of it. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend.
Thanks.